Hi, everyone. My name is Nate Boot. I'm a developer advocate for OpenSearch, and you have, whether you know it or not, joined the community meeting for Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. This is our normal bi-weekly at 3 p.m. The other Tuesdays are at 8 a.m. It doesn't look like we have a whole lot, but we do have some breaking changes to announce to people, and I think this will end up just being kind of like an open format here. But before I get too far into that, I do have to cover the netiquette that we have to follow. Please do introduce yourself before speaking. Mute unless you're actively speaking. Cameras are, of course, optional. Questions anytime in the chat or audio, although I like to say that if there's a presenter, let's follow their preference just to make our guests comfortable. And of course, disruptive folks will be removed. Annotations are off. Profiles only show names, and only hosts or co-hosts can share the screen. And of course, we will once again kick people out if they are disruptive. Just for everyone to know, OpenSearch 2.11 has released. We've got a couple of notes here for everyone in case they want to see what's coming out in that. I'll take a few minutes to talk about this, but we've got a multimodal search that will help improve our search relevance by using semantic and keyword at the same time, or combinations of different search modalities. Sparse retrieval for vector search applications. I'm not 100%. David Tippett, can you give us a quick once over on what's meant by sparse retrieval?
Yeah, sparse retrieval is just a quick and dirty, less in-depth search over vectors. So it's much faster, has a lower overall recall, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, much quicker, but still vector search.
Awesome.
And a little less accurate.
And then, so it looks like we've got this search comparison tool updated so we can compare query results side by side. That'll help you kind of compare your search modalities against each other and whether you're using the right search mechanisms. REST layer auth for build plugins and use snapshots.
Maybe about sparse retrieval, maybe I can explain. So sparse retrieval is instead of having a lot of, like usually normal search, it is a vector, but a lot of like values there are zero. So it's basically presented as something called a sparse vector, where only the values that actually have value they're exist, and the others simply don't exist. So it's called a sparse vector and sparse retrieval, as opposed to dense vectors, which is a contiguous number of values, which is what we use in a vector search. So I don't know what the sparse retrieval for vector search means. My guess would be that this is a combination of sparse methods with vector.
Gotcha. So that makes sense. We don't have to retrieve values if we know they're going to be a zero. We don't have to work with them. So.
Thanks, Sam.
Awesome. Couple of experimental features. Track OpenSearch requests with traces across OpenSearch architecture. New parameters for conversational search tools. So I think with the ML plugins, we've got a conversational memory now where we can specify a conversation ID. And if you're having a conversation with a NLP AI model or something, you should be able to maintain your conversation history by passing certain conversation IDs. And that I think that's going to be pretty cool because that paves the way for a genuine NLP kind of UI that we can make to interact with that stuff if you're into that kind of thing. And I think that's it. Did I miss any of those? Do any of these deserve more recognition than the others? Like, these all seem really cool to me. What are you most excited about, David?
I was gonna say probably the sparse retrieval, just because actually no, I'm gonna go back on that. Multimodal is a big deal because I think we also support images now, and I think those get sent as a binary or base64 encoding. So multimodal is probably the big one to look out for. And of course, sparse retrieval kind of plays alongside with that because it's going to allow for more performant, what's it called? Search with vectors, like Sam mentioned. So, um,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm personally like I like being able to share data sets and snapshots with people. So uh, I gotta say I'm most excited for the using snapshots interoperably with remote back storage. But you know, everyone should be excited. Are you all
It's a
excited?
lot there.
If you're not excited, you should be.
I'm not excited.
Awesome.
Say nothing.
If you are excited, say nothing. Yes,
There we go.
everyone's excited. Okay, we have an engineer here, Peter, hoping to tell us about a breaking change that may be coming for the Debian and RPM packages for OpenSearch regarding a permissions change. Peter, if you'd like to take over the screen, you're welcome to start us off.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Thanks, Nathan. Hi, guys. My name is Peter Zhu. I am a system development engineer from Amazon, working on OpenSearch project. I would like to, well, not really announce, but follow up to a change we will be pushing in the future release, which is basically related to the default configuration permissions on specifically Debian packages and RPM packages. The issue with the existing one, as Roman has already laid out in this issue, that we are making the permissions too relaxed. For example, the /etc OpenSearch and equally on /etc OpenSearch dashboards, the configuration folder, we are assigning 755 permissions, which is not very safe and not very tightened. And there spawns multiple PRs from him in the past and discussions, which related to people from Greylogs and the original implementation, like co-implementator of the Debian packages alongside me. We have a lot of discussions, and the initial change is raised by Roman, and he made a lot of more changes later on, which basically look it like this. This PR, you can see that we have changed the OpenSearch dashboard, including OpenSearch as well. It says the name over here. Let me see, where's the location of that? Yeah, over here, we have the name variable here, but basically this is just OpenSearch. OpenSearch and OpenSearch dashboard ownership has been tweaked to be owned by root user, with the group to be OpenSearch dashboard OpenSearch, and the permissions has been tightened up fully. We were initially planning to push this change on 2.10, but seems like it breaks a few things. That's why we fall back and will re-assume this change in a later release. We have already announced this specific possible breaking change in our package, messages in your console. So if you have installed 2.10 version or 2.11 version that we just released in Debian or RPM format, you would see this message in the console that we're announcing this a potential change, a breaking change in a future release. As of now, we were thinking about putting this change in the 2.x line and 3.x line if it ever goes to release in the future. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have right here. And we have this issue that we're having all the discussion here. So we currently haven't decided a fixed date or release on when to push this change, but we'll keep comment on this issue going forward, and let community knows about the timelines of this. And if you have any discussions or comments, feel free to come to these exact issues that I'll later post it in the forums. I assume it's already in there from Chris, this issue. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we do have a link to that directly in the agenda for today, and also put it in the chat. Put it in the chat for today's meeting as well.
Yeah, sure. So thanks. So basically, yeah, that's all for now.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, I think like the rub is that if you're using the Debian or RPM packages, if you need a non-root user or someone who's not already in the OpenSearch group, if they need access to those files, they just have to be part of the group.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, thanks, Nate. I kind of forget to mention that part. Yeah. Yeah. So basically we're not taking away the ability. It's just that now your user that runs your application or programs or whatever scripts, it has to belongs to the OpenSearch or the OpenSearch dashboard group accordingly if you want to make changes to the configuration files and such. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Peter. It's always good to know about those things ahead of time. I do humbly encourage everyone to sound off on that, because there's where we insert that into our product has impact beyond us, in particularly the Debian and RPM based distributions. So I think we owe it to our community to kind of figure out how to get that in there in a general consensus. But that's just my opinion. Sooner the better. We can do our fellow users on the RPM and Debian distributions a favor by kind of finding a way to get that into the product as organically as possible. So, of course, we rely on our community to do those kinds of things. So please do sound off on that. Aside from that, did we have any other presenters today, or should we just...
We did not have any other presenters today. We're always looking for more presenters, so it's a good nod to everyone on this call. If you ever want to present what you're doing with OpenSearch, we welcome this. I think it's probably okay to open the floor for Q&A or discussions of any other kind. One question that I know is going to come up is, yes, we are working on it for the OpenSearch Con videos. We should have the keynote up by, I'm gonna say by tomorrow morning, and then all the videos after that will follow.
I never quite know how to guide our efforts at this point when we don't have any other presenters. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to talk about? It can be anything you like. We're happy to pool up on it.
Has anyone downloaded 2.11 yet? First thoughts?
Not yet. I do have actually lots of questions about the sparse retrieval stuff, because there is a lot of ways you can do it, and I'm looking at the documentation, and it's a bit confusing. It's not clear if we like translate tokens to like values or to vectors. And I would like to know, because I was reading a few, like a research paper recently that tries to combine like the sparse retrieval methods with vectors, but this one seems to be working a little different. So I'm very curious. Obviously, I can also read code, but if
yeah,
are you trying to say
can...
that it's too sparse for you, the documentation? Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the RFC right now, because I think that might be give us the best answers.
Yeah, that would be great, actually, because that is actually really very, very interesting to see how we implemented it.
Yeah, I'm curious as well, because I wasn't even aware that this was making it into 2.11 before it came.
Yeah, it caught me off guard too.
Showed up, right?
So have we taken any benchmarks or metrics on, like, it seems like it's a compute saving kind of thing. Have we taken any notes as to like just how much compute we're saving, or is it like it's a speed trade-off, isn't it, for the most part?
So what you do today, right, with vector search, so like in original search, right, the way you do it usually is a bunch of like TF-IDF algorithms, and TF-IDF is at the core of it is a vector multiplication. However, those vectors are sparse, right? So those vectors, the values are like, represent whether a token, so for example, if there's like a certain number of tokens in a corpus, whether a token is present or not present. and most the times it's not present. Now with vector search, right, it's different. You take a whole sentence, you convert to a number, and then the vector distance that we calculate is supposed to have some sort of semantic meaning. Now, you can combine the two, right? Like you can say, for example, I can take words and make a word a vector. I don't have to take whole sentence. And then I can do something like TF-IDF, but with a bunch of vectors. So there's all kind of ways to do it. Some of those actually make it even more latency, but more accurate. So I'm curious, like, what is the mechanism that we chose
Oh,
to
this is
implement
really
this?
interesting. So we actually convert them into just, let me see if I read that correctly. We convert the vectors into BM25 indices.
Got it.
Using or an inverted index. Sorry, I said BM25.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Yeah. So basically, we used an inverted index as the storage and retrieval mechanism there, and then I guess we just used the model to generate the query based off of that. That's really interesting. I put the RFC in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I'll make sure
Yeah.
to read that. Thank you. I won't try to assume anything before further before reading the RFC. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's even mentioning the Colbert. So there is a Colbert is the research paper I was talking about. I see it's the one of the first thing that comes up in the RFC. Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and now we're looking at you to become the expert on this and to present it in the
Me?
next meeting. No, I'm
I
just
don't
kidding.
know. I'm actually kind of interested that like how come I didn't like how come you find it so quickly? I didn't even know it was there.
Yeah, no, I know. For me, it's just all I do is search in the GitHub. That's it. That's all I can do. But interesting. Oh, I'm looking forward to playing with this as well. This will be really cool.
Yeah, this is actually new material for me.
Hi everyone.
Awesome.
Well,
Hey, Clark.
hey.
Hi, I'm Clark. I do have a question. Pretty new to OpenSearch, but been using Elasticsearch. We have or used to have like some problems on like how to do some cluster management. For example, rebalancing shards or reindexing, right? I'm curious if there are like features so that you can auto rebalance shards or auto reindex. I'll give a example scenario. For example, for when the cluster has like too many indices, it's because daily we're either creating a logs or dumping data, right? And then I'm curious if there's a way or OpenSearch already has a feature to kind of index them into, let's say, a daily into a monthly, right away. I guess that's the first question, right?
I
And
think
then
that would be that's an index state management operation, I think, if I'm hearing you right.
Yes.
So we do
because
we do have cluster concurrent rebalancing, and hold on, I'm pasting a little snippet from one of our partners, Opster, who talk about this kind of thing. So it's one of those transient settings that you can paste into the API there. Cluster routing, rebalance, enable all, allow rebalance, all active indices. That's the closest thing I could think of to that kind of thing, unless any of the engineers know of something better.
Yeah, because we kind of created like our own logic to basically find the same prefixes, right? And see if they're within a certain storage size. If we combine it, like it's still not that big, then we reindex them, right? right, into one. Yeah.
So if I understood correctly, you want to take you have a certain amount of indices and you want to move them into like merge them into another one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just curious if OpenSearch has like their own feature already instead of like you know, we implemented our own logic to basically
So
go over all of our indices, right? And reindex. Yeah.
I think you could do that with the ISM plugin, the index state management plugin.
Oh,
So you could
ISM.
set like yeah. So ISM is a plugin and uses a it uses a scheduler plugin and it has tasks and it will make sure that the index matches a certain policy. You could do a lot of things over there. So that's one place to look.
Mhm.
I
Would that
haven't
also be
configured
the
that.
same? Sorry, would that also be the same thing if we're gonna want to do some auto um rebalancing of shards, right?
What's auto rebalancing of shards?
So
How
another
do you do that?
problem, the scenario is let's say some of our cluster like hits the like 85% of the storage size, and then some of our cluster are underutilized, so we kind of move those shards, right? And I'm wondering if there's a way to like maybe at the hitting just one API and then it will just rebalance, right?
Okay, so you're talking. This is interesting because the number of shards is the same on all of the nodes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you have this like this disk is the disk space is like high in one node and low in another, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is also it means that you have a cluster with a certain amount of data nodes and many small indices, and they're kind of like some indexes are, let's say, with the same number of shards, but the shards are really big,
Yes. Yeah.
and others the shards are really small.
Mm-hmm.
So the recommendation is to implement a policy where your shards end up the same size.
Mm-hmm.
So you go up to like 30 gigs, 10 gigs, 50 gigs, something like that, whatever works for you. There's a lot of ways to like benchmark that. And then if you decide it's like 60 gigs per shard, then you could set a policy in ISM.
Mm-hmm.
The shards reach a certain size, it'll roll over to the next index. This way, if all your shards are the same size, then you don't have that problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the same number of shards in each node because OpenSearch does that well. All the shards are the same size or close to the same size, so your disks are balanced.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that ISM. Thank you for pointing me on that.
Sure.
That's all. Thank you.
Thanks for asking your question. It's always, there's always someone else who can benefit from the questions here. So yeah, thanks for helping respond to that one. ISM stands for Index State Management. I think you can do roll up based on how old the index is or how the size on disk, and so I think there's a couple of different criteria you can use to roll those up. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share with the group? Anything for the good of the order? Anyone heard about any new cool conferences that OpenSearch might want to show up to, or any user groups coming up that you need a face for? Anyone excited about anything?
Are you planning on being in KubeCon in Chicago?
Yeah, we actually are going to have a presence at KubeCon Chicago for sure.
Right.
I will not be there this time, but yeah, we got a crew going. A3, according to Patty. Hi, Patty.
Hi there. I'll be at KubeCon Amitai if you plan on going.
Yeah, I do.
Awesome.
Say
See you
hi then.
Of course.
We do have a new user group starting up over in Amsterdam. They're going to have their first meeting in November on the 10th. I'll post a link to that here. If anyone can get themselves over to Amsterdam for something fun.
I'll be flying out to kind of help host that and get everyone in a good, happy, friendly mood, I guess.
What does it mean there's a new user group in Amsterdam? Like, what does that actually entail?
Rolling out user groups. Hey, how are you? We're slowly rolling out user groups across the globe. We've got a successful one out in Chicago with our friend Joel over at Bonsai. We're in talks to start another one, I believe, in Austin, hopefully soon. Amsterdam's going to get going.
Didn't we start a New York one with DB also?
There's a good one in New York. I know David just gave a talk out recently, and we'll continue to build this program out. It's kind of in its, we'll say it's in beta mode right now, but we're looking to expand this. So I'll also just blanketly say, if anyone has some interest in starting a user group locally, shoot me a note. I'd love to chat with you. Nothing in LA yet, Katina. Let's talk. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love to have one done in LA.
Yeah, me too. Chris, and I think the route you're taking for this is spot on, because what we found is that if we just make the meetup pages for the meetups, people tend to sign up. So some of these have just been complete serendipity, just pure luck, where we make the group and then all of a sudden, Chris will come back on Monday and there's a bunch of people signed up. And that's awesome.
Yeah, we've had some, it shows a hunger for these. So it's been nice. We were trying to get the one going for Chicago. I think I started it. I created the user group. I was already speaking with Joel. He was in on this. We cracked one open for Chicago. I literally told no one except Nate and David, and they didn't advertise it because we weren't really ready to launch it. And then I went on a 2-week vacation out to England, came back, and I think we had 25 or 30 people already signed up for the meetup page without saying anything about it. So there's definitely a hunger for these user groups. So we want to enable these across the globe. So as it gets more shored up, we'll write some process around it, make it a lot more visible. Clark, there is, and we have not launched it yet in Seattle. A few reasons for that. Just a lot of busy people, and then an OpenSearch con that just kind of superseded it. But reach out to me. I'd actually, if you're interested in helping with it, I'm going to directly invite both Katina and Clark. Shoot me a note if you're on our Slack, or I'll put in my email address here.
Yeah, I will. I'll totally take a train up to Seattle and hang out and talk shop for a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll do the same. Not that I'm much use on the tech side, and love to come down to LA for a visit as well. So shoot me an email or Slack me. Let's get these going.
There's definitely demand for it in Seattle, because that's we've got a lot of engineers there too. So there would be a lot of personnel to be able to help out with those kinds of things.
Yeah, we know a few people up there.
Well, this is good. I didn't realize people were itching for so many other places.
It's wonderful. Like I'm pretty giddy right now. So yeah, Katina, if you're in Slack or shoot me an email.
Yeah, I'm in Slack, so I'll send you something in Slack.
Ruby, I'll talk to you soon then.
Okay. Well, is there anything else for the good of the order? If I might retry my catchphrase here.
We're gonna make stickers one day, Nate.
Yeah. Oh, I'm ready for it. If we can put Kevin Garcia on a sticker, we can put Nate Boot on a sticker. Although Kevin's are probably way cooler than mine.
I like Kevin's. That was some good art behind that one.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Partial to the Daryl Swagger one myself as well.
The swag
As you
emergency
should be.
sticker.
Yeah. They were both amazing. And they're both on my laptop.
Okay, well, I'm going to take silence as complacency, but I would like to leave this community meeting today with something I've learned recently. My grandma, she turned 83 the other day, or she made it to 83, and I'm never getting in the car with her again because that was just way too fast.
Oh, it's great.
There we go, folks.
All right. And that marks the end of today with the dad joke.
Amitai's even shaking his head at you.
Awesome.
It was a good one.
That's how I know
That was a good one.
how I know I'm doing it right.
Yes.
Well, if we ever do an unconference again, I'll walk up there with 15 minutes worth memorized. We'll have some fun. Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for coming.
Clark, there's the Slack link.
Yes. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. If anyone's not in Slack already, there's the link.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, everyone. I hope to see people in person. And I'm also on Slack, Nate Boot. If anyone needs help with anything, if I don't know the answer, I will connect you with someone who does, and it'll be a good chance to learn. So I'm humbly at your service for any OpenSearch need, whether it's advice or technical detail or whatever. I'll do my best.